Mr. Watson, come here. I need you.
On March 10th, 1876, a monumental event unfolded that would forever change the course of human communication. In a cluttered workshop in Boston, amidst a sea of wires and experimental devices, Alexander Graham Bell spoke into a device of his own creation.
Mr. Watson, come here. I need you.
He uttered those words with a mix of anticipation and excitement, his voice trembling with excitement, knowing that he was on the brink of a breakthrough. In an adjacent room, his assistant Thomas Watson heard the words clearly, marking a pivotal moment in the history of communication. This marked the birth of the telephone, a device that would soon become an indispensable part of daily life. Bell's invention promised to revolutionize human communication, offering a new way to connect with others. No longer would messages be confined to the written word or the limitations of distance. The telephone would transcend these barriers. The human voice could now travel instantly, bridging the gap between individuals in a way never before imagined, making the world feel smaller and more connected. Bell, a Scottish-born scientist and inventor, had been working tirelessly on his harmonic telegraph, driven by a relentless curiosity and a desire to innovate. His goal was to transmit multiple telegraph messages simultaneously over a single wire, a feat that would greatly enhance communication efficiency. However, his experiments took an unexpected turn, leading him down the path of voice transmission, a discovery that would prove to be even more revolutionary. Bell's invention was met with a mixture of curiosity and skepticism. People were fascinated by the idea of transmitting voice over wires, yet many were unsure of its practicality. While some saw its potential and were eager to embrace this new technology, others dismissed it as a mere novelty, doubting its long-term viability. The impact of Bell's invention was profound. It opened up new possibilities for personal and business communication, changing the way people interacted with each other. The telephone held the power to connect people across vast distances, breaking down barriers of isolation and fostering closer relationships. Families and friends could now stay in touch more easily, no matter where they were. Businesses could now communicate more efficiently, accelerating commerce and driving economic growth. The telephone became an essential tool for conducting business, facilitating transactions, and coordinating activities. The world was on the cusp of a communications revolution, one that would transform society in ways that were previously unimaginable. However, the road ahead was not without its challenges. Bell and his supporters faced numerous obstacles as they worked to refine and promote the telephone. Bell and his supporters faced skepticism from established telegraph companies who saw the telephone as a threat to their dominance. These companies were reluctant to embrace a technology that could potentially render their services obsolete. Technical hurdles remained as early telephones were limited in range and prone to interference. Bell and his team had to overcome these issues to make the telephone a reliable and practical tool for communication. Yet, the seeds of innovation had been sown, and the world eagerly awaited the next chapter in the story of the telephone. Bell's perseverance and vision would eventually lead to the widespread adoption of the telephone, forever changing the way we communicate. The commercialization of the telephone began in earnest with the founding of the Bell Telephone Company in 1877. This marked the beginning of a new era in communication, one that would revolutionize the way people connected with each other across distances. Alexander Graham Bell and his financial backers recognized the immense potential of the invention. They saw beyond the initial skepticism and envisioned a future where the telephone would become an indispensable part of daily life. They set out to bring the telephone to the masses, embarking on a journey that required not only technological innovation, but also strategic marketing and widespread public education about the new device. Early telephones were leased in pairs, allowing for point-to-point communication between two locations. This meant that each pair of telephones was directly connected, making it possible for two parties to communicate privately and securely.
These early adopters were typically businesses and wealthy individuals who could afford the high cost of installation and service. For them, the telephone was not just a novelty, but a valuable tool that enhanced their ability to conduct business and maintain social connections.
As the demand for telephones grew, so too did the need for infrastructure. Telephone poles and lines began to dot the landscape, creating a visible network that symbolized the growing reach of this new technology. Telephone exchanges, initially operated manually by switchboard operators, were established to connect multiple users. These operators played a crucial role in the early telephone system, manually connecting calls and ensuring that communication flowed smoothly. These exchanges were the precursors to modern telephone networks, allowing subscribers to make calls to a wider range of destinations. The development of these networks was a significant step forward in making the telephone a practical and widespread tool. The Bell Company, under the astute leadership of businessmen like Theodore Vail, aggressively expanded its network and services. Vail's vision and business acumen were instrumental in transforming the company into a dominant force in the telecommunications industry. Competition in the burgeoning telephone industry was fierce. Numerous companies sought to capitalize on the growing demand for telephone services, leading to a dynamic and rapidly evolving market. Numerous independent telephone companies emerged, challenging the dominance of the Bell system. These companies introduced innovations and offered competitive pricing, pushing the industry forward. This led to a period of rapid innovation as companies vied for customers and market share. Engineers and inventors worked tirelessly to improve the technology, making telephones more reliable and easier to use. Despite the competition, the Bell system, through strategic acquisitions and aggressive marketing, managed to maintain a significant share of the market. Their ability to adapt and grow in a competitive environment was key to their long-term success. The late 19th century saw the telephone evolve from a scientific curiosity to an essential tool for communication. It became a symbol of modernity and progress, changing the way people interacted with the world around them. As the network expanded and prices became more affordable, telephones began to appear in homes and businesses across the United States. This widespread adoption marked the beginning of a new era in which instant communication became a reality for many. The world was becoming increasingly interconnected, and the telephone was at the heart of this transformation. It bridged distances and brought people closer together, laying the foundation for the global communication networks we rely on today. The early 20th century witnessed significant advancements in telephone technology, making it more user-friendly and accessible. This era marked the beginning of a new age in communication, where the telephone started to become an essential household item. One of the most notable innovations was the introduction of the rotary dial phone. This device revolutionized the way people made phone calls, offering a more efficient and direct method of communication. Prior to this, calls were placed through the assistance of operators who would manually connect the call. This process was not only time-consuming, but also prone to errors and miscommunications. The rotary dial phone, with its circular dial and numbered finger holes, allowed users to directly dial the desired phone number, eliminating the need for operator assistance. This innovation simplified the process and made it more reliable. The first commercially successful rotary dial phone was introduced in 1892. This early model set the stage for future developments and improvements in telephone technology. However, it wasn't until the mid-20th century that rotary phones became the standard in most homes and businesses. During this period, the rotary phone became a common fixture, symbolizing modernity and progress. This shift towards direct dialing was a major milestone in the evolution of the telephone. It marked a significant departure from the operator-assisted calls of the past, paving the way for more advanced communication technologies. It empowered users, providing them with greater control and privacy over their communications. No longer did they have to rely on a third party to connect their calls, which also enhanced the security of their conversations. The widespread adoption of rotary dial phones had a profound impact on society. It changed the way people interacted, making it easier to stay in touch with friends and family and facilitating business communications. It simplified the process of making calls, making the telephone more accessible to a wider range of people. This accessibility helped bridge communication gaps and brought people closer together. This, in turn, led to a surge in telephone usage as people embraced the convenience and immediacy of voice communication. The ability to quickly and easily connect with others became a valued aspect of daily life. Rotary phones became an iconic symbol of the 20th century. Their presence in homes and offices was a testament to the era's technological advancements and the growing importance of communication. Their distinctive design and satisfying click-click-click sound when dialing a number became instantly recognizable around the world. This unique auditory experience added to the charm and appeal of rotary phones. They represented a time of technological progress and the growing importance of communication in modern life. The rotary phone was more than just a device. It was a symbol of connection, innovation, and the human desire to communicate. The post-World War II era ushered in a period of unprecedented economic prosperity and technological advancement. The telephone, having played a crucial role in coordinating wartime efforts, emerged as a symbol of progress and connectivity. Returning soldiers and their families sought to rebuild their lives, and the telephone became an indispensable tool for staying connected with loved ones, finding jobs, and reintegrating into civilian life. The demand for telephone services skyrocketed during this period. The Bell system, now a monolithic entity, invested heavily in expanding its network. New telephone exchanges were built and miles of telephone lines were strung across the country.
The iconic telephone pole, once a novelty, became a ubiquitous sight in both urban and rural landscapes.
Technological advancements continued to improve the telephone experience. The development of coaxial cable and microwave transmission allowed for the transmission of more calls simultaneously, reducing wait times and improving call quality. The introduction of direct distance dialing, or DDD, in the 1950s further streamlined the calling process, allowing users to make long-distance calls without operator assistance. The telephone was no longer a luxury, it was becoming an essential utility. Families eagerly awaited the installation of their phone lines, and children grew up with the familiar ring of the rotary phone echoing through their homes.